Hello everybody, this is JP Hirsudalos, the Cranky Old Bastard, and the next step in hilting the Kindjhal is putting on the buffalo horn plates. I went ahead and decided to go with the buffalo horn for the simple fact that as much as I like ivory, a lot of people don't. So instead of opening up the big ugly can of worms, I'm going to go ahead and use the buffalo horn. These pieces have been cut and fitted to the either side of the tang, and they're ready to basically cement and then pin. Now let me talk to you a little bit about the adhesives. Buffalo horn, any horn, is actually pretty non-stick. It's been used for years for pharmacy spoons and spatulas, anything that's smooth that doesn't have to pick up any kind of residue or anything else. It's a nice material. It's gorgeous. It can be worked almost like plastic. As a matter of fact, a lot of people call it medieval plastic because when heated, it can be bent and pressed and sent in all kinds of shapes. But be that as it may, it also presents a real problem when it comes to gluing it. Now, you can use high glue. High glue works wonderful for buffalo horn because horn is basically protein, and so is high glue. So it sticks pretty well. We used high glue and fish bladder glue with my papuli when we were doing the bows many years ago with the horn and the sinew. They stuck for forever, but the only thing is it's not waterproof. It'll soften. It'll actually pick up moisture from the air and soften. So you got to be careful with that. But with the horn bows on the composites, we sealed them with a very hard but flexible lacquer. But I digress. Anyway, so the best stuff I have found for this stuff is JB Weld. I'm using the quick weld. It sets in 6 minutes, but it takes 6 to 8 minutes, but it takes 6 hours to cure. Now you can use the longer cure stuff. I have, but in this case, the quick cure is just as fine. Plus, it gives me enough time to play around with it, make sure everything's adjusted. As you can see, it's all fitted in there nice and nice. So a little bit of a gap for the glue to set in there. You don't want to squeeze it so much that squeeze all the glue out. It'll defeat the purpose. So this is a 50-50 mix. I will go ahead and mix that up. I'm going to pop this thing here, just like that. Squeeze out about, that much. Okay. That's the white stuff. Put the cap on that. Actually, I'm going to throw a little bit more on there. It's always good to have a little too much than just a little not enough. And now we'll go over to the black. And we'll pop that open. See, it's brand new tubes. Never been touched before by people. And that should do that. We'll seal that back up. Now I'll get my magic popsicle stick out here and we'll mix her up. Now, this is nice. It'll dry medium gray, supposedly, or dark gray. I like this stuff. It's nice. I think I need a little more white on that because it's a little bit too dark. That should do it. You don't want to mix them in the tube because it'll harden up on you. So just keep mixing. There it goes. That's a little bit better color. And I already got the clamps preset, see? And so the idea here is get it nice and mixed. Make sure to keep the right piece on the right side because these are hand fitted, and even though you can get them as close as you can, there always will be slight variations between side to side or end to end. So pop these off. Let me move this out of the way. See what I'm doing. Let me zoom this in here a little bit. Other way, Jimmy. There we go. That looks pretty good. So we'll pop this off. You can see it's pretty snug. Put that down there like this. Now we just sort of slather this in there. Don't be stingy with it. Make sure you get it all over there, because if it gets sloppy, it doesn't matter, because This is all going to be finished once this is hardened up and pinned. So you just want to keep it grouped in there. And then clean up, that squeezes out. You clean up with a little WD-40 on a paper towel, which is pull up right here right now. Okay, I got you. Okay, so here we go. You see I got the glue piece of there and there. It's pretty much covered. So just put this back in. Now, you have to roughen these edges. You have to roughen this material up on the mating surface here, because if you don't, it won't stick as well as it should. So you just put those in there, and then you clamp the bejesus out of it. You don't want to clamp it too hard, just enough to make it snug. Don't worry about any glue that gets squeezed out of the holes there. But if you do, if you're concerned about that, just take the paper towel and just, you know, works better if you tighten a little bit more, Jimmy. There you go. And just, you know, wipe them down. And put the other side on here. Now I'm going to put a little piece of paper towel onto this part of the clamp, just because I want to, and it'll help to not stick the clamp to the glue. Now check it to make sure it's squeezed out all the way around. See it squeezed all the way around there? All the way around there? All the way around there? Make sure it's snug. Now I'm going to move this clamp down a little bit, more towards the end here. I'm going to get some more paper towel on that. And do the same thing on this end. And then we'll let this sit until it's done. 6 hours later. Make sure you want to get them as close to inner center as possible. You don't have to squeeze that hard, say just enough to snug it in there. Let the glue do its thing. And then you just let it sit and cure. And since I'm a cheap bastard as well as being cranky, I'm going to clean off this stick. It's already starting to set. Look at that. Already starting to set. Excellent. Excellent. Already starting to set. So, look over here, see? It's already setting up. So, 4 hours from now, we'll come back and do the other side after we drill the holes on the through side. So, where we are right now is we're about 90% done with this project. I will do a recap tonight after I, actually probably recap tomorrow before I go any further. So I do want to come back and glue that other handle scale, but that won't take long at all. And then I'll come back in there. We got to drill the holes through the horn from this side, and then, you know, countersink those, and then drill the holes from the other side to, and we'll put these other scale on. As I said before, you can see how I roughened this surface up. This is the other side. This is the rough side's going to go against the tang that way. Now, a word about buffalo horn. If you live in an area that has like silverfish, or even sometimes I'm sure cockroaches, silverfish love to eat buffalo horn. I lost an entire horn. By an entire horn, I mean entire 28-inch long buffalo horn many years ago to a silverfish infestation. My grandfather never told me about that. He assumed, I guess I knew, but you never assume what somebody else knows, because you know what they say about assuming things. But to prevent that, throw in some mothballs. some of those little naphtha, you're visiting your great aunt Alicia, and she all smells like mothballs, that kind of mothballs. No, if anybody has an aunt Alicia, I'm not saying that she stinks, but she might smell like mothballs. But the stuff keeps the bugs away. I put that in with my horn, my antler, my bone. Except for the bone, I am throwing in with those little, I call them corpse beetles. They're those dermistid beetles. I get them from a taxidermy supplier whenever I get some really good bone. And I'll explain about processing bone a little more in depth. I've already done one episode with bone, but I just sort of like made a cursory explanation on it. I'll go more in depth, later on. But right now, let's just finish up this project. You don't need to have me yattering on anymore. Hopefully, you found this video interesting. If you have not already subscribed, please do. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button, and please comment. Let me know how I'm doing. Like I said, I'm flying blind here. I can use all the feedback I can get. Any suggestions are welcome. Even if you tell me to go jump in a lake, I don't care. I'll take that under advisement. But as it is, I think this is coming along pretty good for this project. I'm still kind of uneasy about this whole talking to the camera thing, but I'll get over it sooner or later. But hopefully somebody's getting some information out of this. Like I said before, I'm not the best looking, I'm not the youngest, I'm not the brightest, I'm not the bestest with the westest. I am just me, and this is how I do things. And everybody works differently. I make no claims to fame, I make no claims to fortune. I've strived my entire life to remain unsuccessful when I have succeeded. So, I guess it's what you want to call about success. I am living the dream. And I'll tell you what, this is better than dodging bullets. I've done that for many years, and I don't want to do that again, even though if I have to, I will. But this is a very rewarding hobby. It's a very rewarding occupation. It's very challenging. You can learn a lot. And I will say this, as I said many times before, you learn more from your failures than you do your successes. And experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. So with that being said, I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll be talking to you in a little bit once this cures. May the wise Lord bless and keep you. Bye-bye.